and let us all do we can to build a better future.
I understand why people voted for Biden in 2020. I get it. A lot of people were triggered or worried about Trump. Let's face it, Trump really isn't the best person for the job, but in comparison to Biden now, I mean, come on. I mean, Trump's running circles around him all day. I mean, that's just the truth of it. If that offends people, well, too bad. I get it. I get why people voted for Biden in 2020. I understand it. What I didn't appreciate was the overall bullying that we saw on social media and that we're seeing now, even though it's still 2023, 2024 isn't here. But the vote blue, no matter who people are saying is, you got to vote for Biden because Trump. Trump's the bad guy. Trump. He's going to start World War III, even though, look, he did do some military actions. He didn't do anything compared to what Biden is doing. My God. But I digress. I get it, but sometimes people wake up and realize I made a mistake. Now, I gladly voted. I'm going to speak for myself. I voted third party, and I'm going to keep on voting third party, independent. If the Green Party can't make it on the ballot here in Illinois, I'm going to be voting for the Libertarians. If the Libertarians don't make it, I'll vote for the independent, whoever it is. If there's a blank spot where I can write in a name, then I will write in a name. I will not vote Democrat, and I won't vote Republican. And I think it's important that we hear people say, hey, I made a mistake. And case in point, I want to talk about Oliver Stone. I regret voting for Biden. He may start World War III. This is from RT, just to trigger the vote blue no matter who, people. U.S. President Joe Biden is following a suicidal course in Ukraine and may drag the U.S. stupidly into a confrontation with Russia, acclaimed director Oliver Stone said during a recent podcast appearance. Speaking on an episode of British commentator Russell Brand's Stay Free podcast released on Friday, Stone blamed the conflict in Ukraine on the neoconservative movement who started the war in Iraq and who still occupy prominent positions in Biden's government. By the way, folks, again, a lot of people who were part of that ridiculous conflict that started in Iraq are still walking around free as a bird. If you did anything close, if you, an average citizen, even did a fraction of what those people did, you'll never see the light of day ever again. Biden is an old, cold warrior, and he really hates the old Soviet Union, which he confounds again with the Russian Federation, which is not communist. It seems that he's dragging us stupidly into a confrontation with a power that is not going to give. This, Russia's borders. This is their world. This is NATO going into Ukraine. This is a whole other story. Stone revealed that he voted for Biden in 2020, a decision that he now considers a mistake. To which I have to say, Oliver Stone, doors open for you to join us on our show so we could talk to you more about this as well. I like to see if we can make that happen, but nonetheless, I was thinking he was an old man now, that he would calm down, that he would be more mellow and so forth. Oh, Oliver Stone, that's your first mistake. He was senile on the campaign trail, and he surrounded himself with, opportunistic people. A man who maybe is not in charge of his own administration, who knows? Back in 2016, Stone produced a documentary, Ukraine on Fire, explaining the role of the U.S. in the 2014 overthrow of Ukraine's democratic elected president, Viktor Yanukovych. The film was highly critical of NATO's eastward expansion, the U.S. sponsorship of Ukrainian neo-Nazis. Yeah, I know. Remember when the media used to talk about it? They talked about it all the way up until sometime around 2019, 2020. And then, I don't know, something happened. Something changed. I can't put my finger on it, though. So, again, Stone has repeatedly expressed this sentiment in years, talking about a plan to penetrate into the Russian Federation since Ukraine on Fire was released. Since 2014, Ukraine was no longer neutral but anti-Russian, and that's what disrupted the balance. Again, as he has said this, Stone, though Stone was a vocal critic of former President Donald Trump and voted for his Democratic opponent in 2020, his views on Ukraine conflict align with Trump. The former president and 2024 Republican frontrunner has also named the same neoconservatives as the key architects of the conflict, while accusing Biden of dragging us into a third world war. And let me just tell you, vote blue no matter who. I recently was surfing on YouTube, and I actually saw one of the clips from the extended clip from Terminator 2. You remember that movie, Judgment Day, where the nuke goes off in Los Angeles? And let me just tell you something. There's no rebuilding if all those nukes go onto the major cities. That's it for humanity. Well, who's ever left, the survivors will envy the dead. And we will never get to this point of technology ever again. Hey, well done, Democrats, with the Russiagate. And, oh, we got to be anti-Russian. Here, let's listen to the words of Oliver Stone himself.
This is a potential World War III. This is the same situation as World War I in a sense. The stupidity of it because of the alliances and the fears and the built-up phobias. If we don't stop this, what Biden is doing, this guy is, I voted for him. I made a mistake. I'm thinking that he was an old man now, that he would calm down, he'd be more mellow and so forth. I didn't see that at all. I see a man who maybe is not in charge of his own administration, who knows, but he's going to fall down somewhere. But it seems that he's dragging us stupidly into a confrontation with a power that's not going to give.
Stay free. See it first.
Shout out to Russell Brand. But now, hey, look, folks, hey, vote blue no matter who. Listen. There's no reconstruction once the nukes go off. Now, I know you guys are working double time to help out your boy Biden, but I got to say this, man. Like, look, Gen Z, look, when the nukes go off, talk to the boomer generation, talk to Gen X, and talk to the millennials about, overall threat of, weapons of mass destruction, the nukes are flying and all this, because, I really hope Gen Z isn't becoming hypnotized in the Democratic Party, especially when I see stuff like this. Harry, I don't know what they're paying you, buddy. Backwards hat, aviators, and relaxation. Joe Biden is pretty cool. I'm sorry I must expose this to all of you. Harry, I don't know what they are paying you, buddy. But if it costs you your soul, there's no redeeming you. Yeah, look at that. This is what's going to lead us to World War III. Biden right there. I just noticed that one. Oh, Johnny, man. Johnny, take it easy, bro. Bro, don't beat him. I got to like that. That is funny. I'm retweeting that too. Live on air. I don't care. And of course, we got Greg, Big Mad Crab. That's pretty. Okay, I got to retweet that as well. For those you don't know, Big Mad Crab's part of INN. Johnny, you came out of left field. I don't know who Johnny is. I follow him on Twitter. That's gold. That's gold right there. If you're not following Johnny, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know what? I'm actually going to go one step further. Outstanding comment. Outstanding comment, sir. 4 exclamation points. 10 out of 10. 10. But now, there's another thing to be concerned about, especially if we believe in free speech, if we believe in independent media, because not only do we have to worry about a potential world war, this conflict in Ukraine escalating, but we also have to worry about the fact that, again, this administration is also trying to censor us. So when we see voices like Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, Jimmy Dore, Heartlands Media, RBN, Do Dissident, INN, everybody, and I do mean everybody, remember, this administration is doing everything they can to try and censor free speech. Let's listen to words of Glenn Greenwald.
The Justice Department this week appealed that ruling. They already succeeded in getting an appellate court to stay the injunction, meaning that the injunction will not be in effect until the appeals court can hear the ruling. And today, the Justice Department filed what is really a revealing appeal where they're essentially urging an appellate court to say, we need to continue to tell big tech what they can and cannot permit. Here is the Reuters article from earlier today that shows the headline there. There you see it. U.S. urges appeals court to lift curbs on social media contact. So they are now officially appealing this ruling, trying to get this ruling reversed. And if you look at the court ruling, the brief that the Justice Department filed, it's extremely revealing because they're essentially justifying why they believe they are entitled to badger and hector and coerce big tech to remove content that they regard as damaging or in some ways untrue. There you see the caption on the screen. It's before the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's a brief for the appellants. The appellants are Joe Biden and various cabinet secretaries and various agencies, including Dr. Fauci and the FBI and Homeland Security. And they're appealing it from the ruling by the United States District Court for the Western District of Louisiana that ruled that this is all in violation of the First Amendment. We're going to show you the key passage from this brief where the Biden Justice Department explains to the court why they believe this is justified. Here's what they say, quote, "One of the central obligations of government leaders at any level is to protect the public against innumerable threats, natural disasters, outbreak of disease."
Now, let's be clear, because I wanted to give him a chance to speak and have all of you hear his voice. Now, the situation is that the government now is trying to dictate to you what you're allowed to say and what you can't say. Now, again, I keep on bringing this up. The fact that a legitimate story, the Hunter Biden laptop story, even though it was done by the New York Post, the fact that it was censored by Facebook and Twitter, and there were government agencies doing everything they can to keep that story suppressed during the 2020 presidential election cycle, it really says a lot about the influence of what then the Biden-Harris campaign, and will soon be the Biden-Harris administration, would have over social media. Big tech was on a super fast rush of censorship, and it's gotten worse. I mean, Hard Lens Media, we've gotten more. All this censorship and all this talk that happened to us happened under the Biden-Harris administration. But it's impacting so many people in independent media. But I'll even go one step further. It's been impacting a lot of content creators who aren't in independent media, who cover other types of genre, be it comedy, entertainment, etc., etc., etc. The censorship has been turned up to 11. That's how bad it's getting. And this is what this administration wants to do. It wants to make sure that there's no conversations that are stepping outside the neoliberal narrative.
Crime, economic turmoil, and much more. Governments have concrete tools to address some of these challenges, but often one of the government's key roles is simply to provide the public with accurate and timely information, to dispel false rumors, and to explain what actions citizens and businesses can and should take to advance the public good. It is critical in crises and also in ordinary circumstances that government leaders be able to disseminate accurate information and encourage actions that support the public good. The government cannot punish people for expressing different views, nor can it achieve the same objective indirectly by threatening the media with punishment if it disseminates those views. But there's a categorical, well-settled distinction between persuasion and coercion. The government must be allowed to seek to persuade people of its views, even where those views are the subject of controversy. Now, that is the appropriate distinction. The government is entitled to suggest that certain information that the media is about to disseminate.
Now, again, here's the thing. Speaking of information, because I'm also checking on the live stream chat, I find it interesting now that with all these, legal problems surrounding Hunter Biden, all these problems and scandals surrounding the Biden-Harris administration, all these other social issues, that now one of the biggest top secret issues, I think, in our lifetime is now becoming widely accepted as fact, that aliens are real. I know. Why am I bringing it up? Because I remember as a kid, I remember in the 90s, even with the X-Files, how the government kept on saying, no, aliens are not real. Nope, 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 nope. And the quote, shoe on head, I used to believe aliens are real until the government told me that they are real. I mean, let's take for a moment that that entire hearing. It's true. UFOs, aliens are real. That means U.S. government, not only have you lied to the American people about a potential unknown threat or existence of another agency outside of our planet, but you lied to us for years. And also, this also calls into question all these people who came forward, who had their lives ruined, or dare I say it, disappeared. So now that these aliens are real and the government's talking about, where are those people at? Hello, those people. Where are they at? Where are they at? Maybe if you got them locked up somewhere, or I don't know if you buried them somewhere. Maybe it's time for people to have closure. Just throwing it out there, because the reason why I'm attaching it to this and everything that Oliver Stone said about Biden and all these politicians have been in charge for years. They've been lying to us. They want to censor us, quiet us down. And it's gotten worse under this administration than I think any other administration since then. The censorship is real, folks. Keep your heads on a swivel.
Should not be published because it's inaccurate or harmful. That has nothing to do with what they're doing here. The Democratic Party has spent 2 or more years explicitly threatening big tech that if they don't begin to censor more content off the internet in accordance with the Democratic Party's wishes, the Democratic Party will impose on them regulatory and legal reprisals. It's not some option or request when the CIA or the FBI or the Biden White House come knocking on the doors of big tech and say, we want this content removed. It's not just a suggestion. The context is a continuous stream of threats and punishments that could cripple these companies, if not destroy them, in the event that these companies fail to comply. And the emails that we walked you through last night and that were revealed by the Twitter files and that were revealed by other reporting makes clear that the Biden White House is not even pretending that any of this is optional.
It's only going to get worse, folks. I wish I could tell you that things would get easier. I wish I could tell you that that it's not going to get bad. But when you have an administration that's on a super fast rush to continue on with a conflict that could lead to the extinction of humanity, when you have an administration that's on this pro-censorship path, all I can say is that it's going to start getting grim and more brutal. Now more than ever, we need a change. Because if we don't do something, we're all going to be silenced.